going on, good people? Come on into the room, be coachable, teachable, trainable, and post your city and state where you are catching this live information from on today. My name is Brand Master Martina Britt Yelverton, your cash flow queen and founder of the #1 legal tax hack to hire your kids in your own home-based business, so should you choose to do so. And on today, if you are currently showing up without showing off in your zhuzh, then today's thought leadership content is going to really change the game for you. Right now, you are putting out content, but it isn't building trust, and it actually is just filling time. And on some level, that's okay if it's awareness content. But as you heard me discuss with you on yesterday, it's more important that you're working by a strategy. You're working by a plan. You're ensuring that there's some elements that are available in that awareness content that is still giving value, that it's not just filling up space, right? You may be trying to push down some old, outdated content like your girl had to do when she left the last company for disintegritous reasons. But right now, moving forward, I am ensuring that not only do I show you what I did, tell you why I did it, show you the methodology behind why I did it to help you avoid some bumps and bruises along the way, to help you have a mind shift and all of that. But when you come to the front of the room and you become a leader, it doesn't mean being loud. It means being clear. It means showing the transparency of your journey. It means being consistent. It means that you realize people are not just following you because you're giving them no reason to. You're giving them a reason to. You're giving them the truth. You're giving them the transparency. You're giving them the goal, the mission, the vision, the plan ahead. You're letting them know who you are, why you help people, why you can help them. You're giving them the solution, right? And that's the way that you need to do this with integrity, right? You don't need to be beating people over the head with what just ain't working. You need to be pounding down internet doors, pounding down Wi-Fi streams, whatever you need to do, delivering consistent value to help people pivot on up out of this current situation. So as you guys know, we are currently doing pre-recordings this week for you to continue to get this information, because there is a 90-day plan in place, and this value is to be delivered to you because you are out here looking for it, right? And if you have no idea who I am and why you should be, continuing to listen to this information, understand that I help startup and struggling entrepreneurs like you to get your assets in order so you can go from being stuck and struggling inside of a company brand to being impactful, empowered, influencing, attracting people to you that need what it is that you have to offer so that you can serve them, right? My daily goal is to brand you, educate you, and to help you get your assets in order. And so regardless of what is going on, even though it's some good information going down in the GovCon 5-day challenge, if you want to know more information about that, just let your girl know. Drop it in the comments. I'll make sure that it is available. And there it is. So today we don't have after office hours because of the GovCon 5-day challenge. And I would like for you to be able to access it, so should you choose to do so. Because I dropped the nuggets, the gems to and for you guys a couple weeks ago about the attack that is happening on the W-2 employee, and how so many people are being let go, laid off, furloughed, and all of that good based on the current economy, and how you can pivot during this time. One of the things that you have to understand as a small business owner is a lot of your customers and clients, they are actually W-2 workers. And when people are being let go, that affects the small business owner. One of the ways you can adjust as a individual who's out here working a W-2 job, you need to get yourself a brand. And what I mean by that is you need to own your name, you need to own your value, and you need to make sure that you position yourself to be sought after by even government agencies, because they need your skill set, right? And when you do that during your 5 to 9 time, if you happen to lose your 9 to 5, your 5 to 9 can sustain you. Hopefully it'll outpace your 9 to 5, but we need some people who continue to work. And who continue to work. One thing I used to say is somebody has to bust the table. Somebody got to cook the food. Somebody actually has to serve the food. Somebody has to bust the table. Somebody got to clean the dishes. All of these things are part of the ecosystem. However, when you are a part of the ecosystem, that's a small business owner, and the W-2 workers that come in and frequent your business, they lose their job. That means they're not coming in to frequent your business. So what you need to have next on your mind is, how in the world do you sustain yourself when that income goes away? And I'm suggesting that you make sure you prime yourself, you position yourself, and consistently allow yourself to be seen, sought after, and found by even government agencies who need your skill set. Okay. And that's what we're learning about in GovCon this week during this 1 o'clock hour. That's why we're pre-recording. Okay. Again, for today's topic, if you are putting current information out here and it isn't building trust, it's just filling time, there are some things that you need to do to fix that, right? You're posting, you're showing up, but no one is actually buying. Then you need to understand what needs to be done to fix that. You don't have to do the dance, go viral, shot online to get noticed. You just need to create content that reflects your expertise from your perspective, right? And that's what we're talking about today. How to craft thought leadership content that will actually build trust, elevate your brand, and that will position you as the go-to person, so that when you actually are out here giving that content, the person who is looking for it can connect with you. And you need to be able to do it without burnout, right? And you need to do it without relying on or performing for the algorithm. And all of that is kind of hard. But I will say this in the points that we're going to cover is that if you're being authentic to yourself, those people who need what you have will find you. You just have to be clear about your message. Now, I know you keep hearing me use the word thought leadership. So we're going to talk about what that actually means. We're also going to talk about why your perspective is more valuable than your personality to a point. Okay. We're going to talk about at least 3 types of thought leadership content that you need to consider utilizing, right? And how to avoid burnout by batching and rotating some of the styles that we're going to talk about, right? So you can put the information out here and people can see it consistently. You can have a little variety to it, but it's still all aligned with your brand. So the first thing I want to address is thought leadership. What is meant by that? Thought leadership, or being a thought leader, does not mean you're a guru. Okay. We know there are a lot of fake leaders, I guess is what I want to say, that are out here delivering a lot of courses and contents and redistributing like PLR information that they haven't gone through, vetted, and given their own perspective on, right? When you become a thought leader, it means that you have a clear point of view. You have a consistent message and a brand that makes people think and trust. Now, I heard something I want to say, if it wasn't yesterday, it may have been the day before, and I want to make sure I quote her correctly, so I'm going to pull it up to make sure I say it correctly. But it was a new perspective that I had not thought about on the branding realm before. And branding meaning who you are, why you're here, what your purpose is, and all of that. And what she said was, your purpose is not what you do, it's what happens to people when you do what you do. And I thought that was really, really powerful. Your purpose is not what you do, it's what happens to people when you do what you do. So we know we were all sitting here with a purpose, even though we may have a passion that's conflicting with what we will learn or will see or will find out along this journey is our purpose. But think about that. If you take on that new programming, because we all have, some pretty conflicting programming going on inside of our head, but when you take on that new programming, that my purpose is not about what it is that I'm doing, it's about what is the response of the people. how does it impact or how does it influence the people when I do what it is I do? That gives you a whole different mindset about what you do. Think about that in the realm of being a parent. Okay, you are responsible for the life and livelihood of a child through X amount of age, and it differs for every person. You are responsible for their growth, their perception, perception to a degree, but their perspective, how they actually will become citizens of this world and be out in these internet streets. Okay, you're responsible for that. The purpose of you in their life has a reason, a season, and all of that, but it has a zhuzh. And when you do that with the mindset of how does it influence, how does my purpose influence, impact, and increase this child I've been blessed to raise, in my case, 4 children I've been blessed to raise, that gives you a different perspective on your purpose. When you think from that mindset before you engage with that child, that is an example of being a thought leader, because you're thinking from a clear point of view. You're thinking about the consistent message that you need to pour into this individual, right? And you being the brand, okay, this child's growing up paying attention to who you are, what you say, the promise that you make to them, whatever it is that you deliver to them. Remember, a brand is the thought that is in the other person's head about you. And they were able to develop that thought based on who you are, what you said, what you did, how you engage with them, whatever zhuzh is around you. But if you think on the business side of it, it's what colors exuded what energy, what logo represented or presented itself to represent this, that, or a third. All of those different thought processes, whether you're doing a personal brand, a corporate brand, or a business brand, you are the brand. Your thoughts, your show up, your your missteps, right? All of that is a part of your brand, as well as the thought that the individual has about you. All of that is a part of your brand. And a brand is a big, big, big deal. So when you think about that and your purpose, you couple that or you combine that with your purpose, that's huge. And here's why it matters. Your audience isn't just buying what you do. They're buying how you see the world, how you've helped them navigate the world, how you've helped them reach whatever or move the needle in their business, right? That's what builds a long-term brand equity. And it's huge. That's why it matters so deeply. So let's think about 3 types of thought leader content that you can actually shift to or start if you've not started today. One is a belief-based post. And an example would be, I believe most entrepreneurs struggle with visibility, not because they lack talent, but because their message isn't clear, right? And then you could add your perspective to that, maybe give a lesson or an example, and always finalize with a call to action. If you want to know more, if you want access to, please join us at, different things like that. That is a belief-based post. I believe that most entrepreneurs, XYZ. I believe that most mothers, XYZ. I believe that most pastors, XYZ. Whatever your belief is, and you say what your belief is. That's a belief-based post. Again, adding your perspective, supplying value through a lesson, and then ending or closing with a call to action. Number 2 of the thought leadership content that you could begin to shift your mind towards or start today, and that would be behind the scenes. Right? You could share some behind the scenes, meaning here's how I build a 3-step sales system that runs while I sleep. Here's access to my cheat sheets or checklists that deal with how you can understand more information about branding. And inside of that, you share whatever the process is. You share whatever the tools are, or you actually schedule time in the call to action in case they need more access or more information or more clarity about the process or the tools, because tools can go deep. GHL, Canvas, StreamYard, the three main pillars that my entire brand is built on, all three pillars are pretty in-depth information, right? That's not something I can just share and say, hey, these are the tools that I use. This is the process that I go through. Go get your system. It doesn't work like that. That's the reason why we have the community, so I can share and show you a section, give you a cheat sheet so that once you download the tool and begin to use it yourself, you can follow the sequence in a set order. And then if you have questions, you can ask those questions inside of the community, because I've asked you to either schedule time or to book an appointment or to shoot it to me inside of the chat or some way or form that I can answer that. And generally, like I said, I'll answer it in a video. Number 3 of the types of thought leadership content that you can either shift your mindset to today or start today, and that is your bold opinion content. If you have a bold opinion about your value, product, niche, or service, then you want to be able to state that. And I'll use this as an example. If your brand needs explaining every time you introduce yourself, then it's not working. That's literally my opinion. And then I want to take a stand that gets agreement or respectful disagreement. I'll use another one. Even though I'm telling you guys that you need a brand, many of you are still using bit.ly links, company links. And when those break or the company changes, your content is obsolete. And that could have been avoided. Now, in that essence, I'm taking a respectful disagreement by saying, and that could have been avoided. Why? Because I've been telling you for decades now. We're about to go into 20 years here. We're in 2025. This started in 2005. 2 decades I've been saying, own your name, get a domain, start a business, stop paying attention and leading with the company information, lead with your value, your results, right? I've been saying all of this. I respectfully disagree with any company that tells you to lead with company information first. And I'm okay with that. Now, if you'd like to know why, come into the community. Subscribe to my Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube. Select the bell. Get notifications when I go live to talk more about this. Again, that's a call to action. Come into the community. See the information that I give the students. Check out some of the testimonial posts. Type receipts in these streets, hashtag receipts in these streets, and you will be able to see the receipts that I show from customers who actually have proof that what I'm telling them or what I'm teaching them is working. All right? Your belief, your explanation, and your lesson folds into them getting more time with you, right? That is a way that you can actually utilize each one of these thought leadership pieces of content. A belief-based post, behind the scenes share, or bold opinion or content. Now, I want to ensure that I don't make this too long-winded, but I do want to share with you some objections and some reframes that you have to have. You have to make. You may be thinking off point, but I don't have clients yet to be able to share the behind the scenes or to have such a bold opinion. Guess what? You literally can use your own story. You can share your own progress and your pivot points, and you can be the proof that you wish you had. Sometimes you have to realize that you're going through a trial or tribulation or a test so that you can get to the other side of it, so you can share the steps that you went through to get there for someone else who is just starting to run into that type of bump. What do you call it? Speed bump, pivot, pothole, whatever you want to call it, right? You are going through your trial or tribulation to be a testimony for someone else. And if that's where you are, you're just starting out, you don't have any clients yet, when you start this process, that is your blueprint. But let me take it even a step further than that. You do have the option to use things like affiliate marketing, something you've read, something you've bought, something you've tried, and being able to give your results or your testimony or your trials or tribulations, or if you had to go through refunds and returns, being able to do all of that information and document the process helps someone else avoid some of the things that you've gone through. And on the end, if it was a great success, go ahead and link your domain up to that and you're available to make commissions. You didn't have to do anything but try something, say what happened, and then allow someone else to try it as well, and you make a piece of the action. All right? That's one of the ways that you can look at, I don't have a product, I don't have a niche yet, I don't have a service yet, I'm just getting started, brand spanking new, I don't even know what my value or my skill set is. There is something in your house that you bought that if you take the time to remember where you got it from and find out whether or not there is the availability to share commissions on that, you can become an affiliate marketer. Literally, there are options where you can go around your entire house. You can scan everything that you have in your entire house. And if it's sold on Amazon, you can become an Amazon drop shipping person. You can become an affiliate with Amazon. There are so many different options. There are books that you've read that people can purchase from Amazon, purchase from the owners of the books, purchase the audibles, all of that, until you determine I'm good at something, and now you develop your business behind that. Okay? There's so many different ways that you can make money, that you can stop just putting content out, and you can actually stop just filling up time and be structured and consistent in what it is that you're doing out here in these internet streets, and you can make money. So I tell you guys all the time, as we close out, there are some next steps that I would love for you to get involved with. But if you're still struggling with this thought leader concept, then at least write one post this week using one of the thought leader methods that I've given you. And I'm going to suggest that you start with the belief-based post. You believe something, somewhere, somehow. Explain why you believe it, the lesson that you learned from it. And if people want to have a dialogue, go back and forth in the text message, find out more, get in contact with you to have a discussion about why you think the way that you think, then have a CTA, okay? I would love to ask the question, what's one belief or opinion that you hold, right, that you think that your audience needs to hear more often? I'm always going to tell you, own your name. Number one, out the gate, first thing I say, own your name. I currently still own all my kids' names, even though the oldest two are about to reach 30 and slightly over 30. I don't know if I'm going to keep them, but we'll see. I own all four of my kids' names. And I did that because I believe everyone should own their name. We have no earthly idea where this internet was going to end up going. We don't know what that means to own digital real estate, the property, the accessibility to your name. I always suggest that you start with the .com and then possibly move to the .info as far as information on yourself. And if you have nothing to add to it, create a resume and have it go to your resume. Be in control of how your name is viewed, found, utilized online. That's the first thing I always say. I believe people need to hear more information about owning their name. That's mine. What's yours? If you can drop that into the comments, I, of course, would greatly, greatly appreciate it. As you guys know, as we close out, we are not in open after office hours on today. We are in GovCon this week. govcon.martinabrityelverton.com. You're available to join us over there. You are invited to opt in. And of course, when I get the replays, I'll make sure I make those available to all of you who have either let me know you opted in so that I can share those with you, or dropped a tag or a comment. You need to be in GovCon. But if you still choose to draw a blank eye, turn a blind eye to it, then your girl will still be here each day, 1 p.m., Tuesday through Friday, giving you branding value and, when available, opening after office hours to answer your business brand, your burning business brand question. I'm going to get that so that it's not so tongue-tied at some point. But again, I hope that you would be available to join us on tomorrow when we're discussing, if you're trying to be everywhere, that's why nothing is working, because you can't be everything and everywhere to everybody. And I'll explain more of that tomorrow. I hope you'll be able to join us. Have a